Hi, good evening. It's 6:02 p.m. on January 22nd, 2025, calling the Clinton Conservation Commission's January meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is a continuation for the RDA for the Clinton Middle School.
Good evening. Do you want me to begin or chair?
Yes, go ahead, Marissa. Thank you.
Sure. So just to continue where we had left off in November, we had presented our plan. I'm happy to share any of those plans now. Based on comments at that meeting, we went on a site walk in late November to observe some off-site wetland areas. And it was our understanding that the swale and on-site areas the commission was in agreement that they were not jurisdictional.
Yeah, I think that's a fair characterization of the site walk. Dave, did you have any comments you wanted to make?
No, I don't. No, I think that was a fair characterization. And whether or not they were jurisdictional, that I mean the outer perimeter of that field might have a hair of buffer to it, but I don't think that that's imperative. I think that I'm in agreement. So and this came in, this didn't come in as in ANRAD looking for an ORAD to have an affirmation. This came in as an RDA, just looking for a negative determination. Which category is that? Where resource areas we verified they aren't present? Or
Yeah, so it was an RDA, whether the area depicted on the plan reference is subject to jurisdiction.
Right.
Yep. So that's
one caveat that I wanted to give up is that because I wanted to put with the vote is that we chatted about that, but I think that it would also be important because we weren't able to verify the resource areas as they were offsite, that we would not be making any boundary determinations. So we would agree that the area on the site has no resource areas, but we weren't making official boundary determinations. So we would give it we would give it a negative and a positive 2B. No boundaries were confirmed.
I think that's true, and I don't think. Yeah, I don't know how that would impose a constraint to the client's aggressive development. Yep, but I understand the caveat. Yeah, so I'd support it. Sure. Yep.
Those areas are off-site, right? What you're saying, off the plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really the perimeter of the athletic field that I don't know. It may have been historic drainage around where the athletic field was, but you know, you can tell there's some hydrology back there, but it's off property beyond a perimeter fence that is really not worth snooping back there. But nothing on the plan of reference that we received from Niche has wetland resource areas on it. It would be a notation that, you know, proximity of wetlands north of here have not been verified, or some notation such as that.
Let me just pull up.
Yeah. So any questions from Niche, or is that online with what you guys were anticipating? Or
yes, yeah, that's online. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I figured we just need to punch this home.
Okay. So is there a motion?
I would make a motion to issue a negative determination referencing the notation that we had just discussed.
A second.
Great. All in favor, roll call vote. Kim, aye. Dave?
Aye.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Great. So that is all set. The motion passes. We should probably close the public hearing.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
All right. So we have issued your determination. We'll work with our admin to get that out to you in a timely fashion.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay. The next item was continuation of the request for determination of applicability for 14 Bolton Road. I don't see anyone here for that. I did email with Mr. Silva and with the building inspector about concerns that we saw on that site walk. The building inspector said that he would have the shed moved. I haven't heard anything back yet. I haven't followed up either. And Mr. Silva said they were working on getting the site resurveyed.
Okay,
We haven't,
yep,
and we haven't gotten that either. So
Yeah.
it's not an official hearing because we're not hearing on anything, but that's
no,
the
no,
update.
Yep. Yeah, we're basically just briefing what occurred in the site walk that we attended and what expectations we have, but yep, I think that there's steps remain before I anticipate they'll be back for
Yep.
the request to go over it. Okay.
And the next thing would be the peer review for MWRA. I wasn't sure if they were planning to attend tonight or not. It looks like not. We did get one proposal.
I saw that. Oh my God. Kim, and thank you too for chasing that after, and following up with all that stuff. I was at the sidelines watching and I was like, thank God this woman has agreed to take this on. So yeah, it has been my experience with peer review consulting that when we do it on behalf of other communities, Hancock Associates, we try to give them, as a company, we try to give cost estimates, and always estimates, because you never know what you encounter and it could go up or it's $1,000, a few $1,000s more. With municipalities, though, we understand that it really is the fixed rate, and we try to give we will stick within this budget, and for $4,000 we will deliver X, Y, and Z. And at that point, if the commission needs something else, then it would be another proposal. Right. But it would just go into the escrow, like paid in full, essentially. 1-to-1 is the way I've seen. So yeah. Thank God.
Haven't heard anything. So haven't heard anything else today. So
Yep.
We'll just have
just
to.
happy to see somebody's retained and we can let them know. Yeah. Good.
We don't have anything in the next item. I think the next item was a carryover from the agenda.
Do we need, one question, do we need to vote to retain them or not? How's that work?
Well, no, I think we already, that's a formality process. I think via email coordination with the applicant and, email acceptance of that fee. It's not something that necessarily needs to be voted on to.
Right.
I don't think I've ever done one before, so I'm just asking.
Yeah. No, these are good questions.
Done one quite this way. I think typically if there were a number of proposals retained, then the applicant would have the option to choose one of those if that was if we wanted to do it that way. But since we're beggars this time.
Right.
So this is, I think, what we're going with, since we already voted to get a peer review. And this is the proposal that we got. So I don't think we need to do another formal vote. At least I hope that's the case. Our process people aren't here. Like Sean. And
I think, yeah, no, but I don't know.
well, if we have to vote next meeting, then we'll vote next meeting.
But either way, yeah, we want to progress this and get it under review, and and I'm sure MWRA does as well, and that they're not going to scoff at the $4,000 isn't breaking their farm, but it's also
5,500
or 5,500, right? But no, it's it's really routine peer review process, and I think just via email coordination with them, that
okay. I was just bringing it up in case we overlook it.
Yeah. No, it was a good point. So that would bring us to Rapture Farms.
Gloria. I see her here.
She's probably not ready. So early.
No. I know, no kidding, huh? I'm glad we went pretty quick.
Did we do a site visit for 118 Main Street?
So that was I think that was a carryover. They ended up just asking us questions last time. They wanted us to do a site visit with them to let them know if there were any red flags that we saw on the site in advance of purchasing the site, which Dave and I both said was not the role of the commission.
Yeah. Yeah. They're asking us to do a due diligence property evaluation.
Yeah.
Pro bono.
Do you want to do bills while we're waiting for Gloria?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got a reimbursement for Denora for our monthly Zoom bill. It's a number of months and it totals to $101.94. Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Dave, Don, second.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
great. A National Grid bill for $16.99.
I saw that one. Yeah, I second approval to pay that.
Okay.
Aye.
And a bill for Latini Creative Solutions of $500 for Russia Farm signage.
Yep, I think as we discussed, approved.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
okay, so we'll vote on
Yeah.
to approve all the bills. Aye. Dave,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
great.
Right.
Me, aye.
Again, do you need my signatures or are you still able to use digital from the office?
I have yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
I only when we've discussed it.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No worries.
And that Don has been really gracious in going in and putting on a wet signature for us, which is really helpful.
Appreciate that.
I don't think we have any other news. I don't know if you guys saw the Sterling Clinton agent was posted. It's closing on Friday. There's a number of applications. Some are, grads with no experience, or general experience, but no agent experience.
Yeah.
There's one seasoned agent, one agent who did it for about 2 years and then went to consulting, and a couple, looking to switch things up applications. So the Sterling Town Administrator is going to be on the interviews. I'm going to be on the interviews, and then their retired agent was going to sit in for them, Sterling's retired agent. So those will hopefully be the first week of February, maybe the second week of February. And then Sterling really wants to move quickly on this. So we may have someone in place sooner than expected, sooner than, imaginable.
Right. Is it am I able to see who the applicants are, or
Yeah, I'll send around when I get the resumes, I will forward them. So if there's any comments you would like to make, let us know.
Yeah.
But I think he's looking to interview about 6 people.
Yeah, great. Good. And that's a good applicant pool for something like this, and not just getting one resume or one. That's it's good to have 6 interests.
I haven't seen the packet yet, so I can't provide any additional insight there, but he seemed to be happy with the selection.
Good. Fingers crossed.
Gloria, is that you?
Jim, silence.
Yes, I just came back upstairs. Am I on?
You're on.
Oh my gosh, this is like lightning. Okay, sorry. I was busy feeding the dog and the cat.
Well, we didn't have any new applications and we didn't have really much to hash out. We just had a continuation. So
okay. So, all right. So here I go. Well, I do have a great major breakthrough to report since I sent you my report.
Oh, and I would like to update you that we approved bills for National Grid and Latini Creative Solutions. So unless there was something else.
Okay, no, I don't have any more bills at the moment. But my report, did you meet last month or not? I don't remember. No, okay. So my report is, big chunks of it are similar to what I reported last month, but I yellow highlighted things that had updated or changed, all right? And the real issue I'm talking about here is the pasta clamshell Pond, which has been with the permanent building committee since a year last November. Okay, and I have been trying to get information, but I am happy to report that about an hour ago, I have been attempting since early December to hear from the town administrator about having a conversation about this with him, because he is the town procurement person. And from what I sort of understood was that the town will have a contractor who I had already met with end of November, December. But then she asked me, what's next? And I said, well, you need to talk to the town administrator, because she didn't know if she was coming on the project or not. And I still don't know if she is. But I finally, just about an hour ago, in my report, I have been sending emails to the town administrator during December and during January, offering available slots to talk to him about this. So I just sent another email after I had sent you my report, and I said, well, perhaps all my emails were ending up in his spam folder. That would explain him not responding. So I told him I was going to print off and hand deliver the email that I sent just over about an hour and a half ago, and I have now had a response from the town administrator. So he has he said he can be available to talk to me in some of the time slots that I was proposing for next week. So at that point, I'm hoping to at least have an update about that seems to be going nowhere at the moment. And there's nothing anyone can do, because it is the permanent building committee, as I understand it, project. And meanwhile, I have concerns about the funding, which was approved for this, not being sufficient. So, I have a lot of questions for the town administrator, and I understand the situation with the town administrator going forward. So, but I have to keep bringing this to the attention of the permanent building committee. Otherwise nothing. But I have been trying this now since I first sent it over in November, more than a year ago, and I have kept it up asking since basically February. And so that's it.
Have you copied any of the select board on that process? Because it sounded like Sean may have wanted to get copied on those if there was not progress.
Well, I have not done the select board up to this point, but now that I have had a response as of tonight from the town administrator, I would propose talking with him next week and having him tell me what the permanent building committee is doing, and if they have appointed a contractor to do the RFPs and do all of that sort of stuff, because that's what I understood. Basically, after hearing nothing formally, I heard at Old Home Day during, a conversation that that Chris McGowan, who was still the chair, they were going to look for someone, and that Kevin Bartlett had thought he might know someone. Anyway, long story short, nothing happened, and I kept asking and asking again. And so finally I visited with Mr. Bartlett and found out that an email had been sent in August to a potential independent contractor to move the whole project forward. But then she apparently didn't get it. So at that point, now we're now in November, I was included in another thread, and she did meet with me on Rauscher Farm. And, I explained what the project was. She had the drawings, and there was a missing stamp from Sadowski. I sorted that out, sent her the updated things, and now I have to talk to the town administrator as the town procurement agent to say, has someone been appointed to be the contractor? If not, then I have to, I believe, follow your suggestion, Kimberly, and get in touch with the select board.
Okay.
I think that right now, I think that would be the way to go if I can get no information next week and no sense of a plan
Right.
to move this forward. Your thoughts?
I mean, I probably just want to copy Sean right away. That's what I started doing.
I know. Yeah.
Well,
You know,
well,
if anyone we wish were in attendance, yeah.
well, I know. Well, the point, I'm in a difficult position because I can't overstep. You know, I answer to you, the Welsh Farm Manager, something answers to you guys, and that's why I sent you this volume for your December meeting, and then you didn't meet. So read the report that's basically almost identical to the December with the yellow highlighted bits, right?
Okay.
The update.
I love a yellow highlighted bit.
Yes,
Helpful.
well,
Yep.
I
Yep.
did. I broke
Focus
down the
on
whole
that.
page. I broke down the, you know, the terrible wall of text, and I gave you more subheads, right?
Right.
And then I yellow highlighted it. So you know, you can read the War and Peace version in between the yellow highlights, or I've just described to you these highlights, which suddenly, as of an hour and a half ago, the town administrator has finally responded after, you know, basically since the beginning of December.
Okay.
And the beginning of December, I hasten to add, I asked in July for this. So, okay, so let me talk to him next week. If I hear nothing, or it all seems like, you know, nothing concrete is being talked about, then thank you. With your blessing, I will send you a formal note that I need to talk to the select board.
Okay.
Is that acceptable? Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Yep. Okay. With everyone? Okay. Now there's a couple of other things I did want to point out in the report, just so you know. Okay. So, all right. So the project updates, the one I just wanted to draw attention to is the forest, the Welsh Farm, the update of the forest stewardship plan, because this is a grant that the town got from the DCR. This is after, again, there was a holdup.
I know. I remember this one.
Yeah. Okay. When I had to let go of 1 year and wait for another because okay. So we got the money, right? And at that point, and the forester, and we met, you know, so there's been, at that point, the deadline, the DCR deadline was the 22nd of January, right, for the 2025 grant. I then got informed by the forester before Christmas that he was not going to meet this deadline. So in that week before Christmas, I got hold of Mike Downey, who is the program director of this program. He's extended the deadline basically till the end of the financial year, 30th of Jan. But I have already agreed to have the forester say he could deliver this updated plan by March. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to extend this out. Right.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so the deadline for the delivery to the DCR is now meant to be on March the whatever. Where is it? I can't find it now. Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. March 31st. That's the plan itself. There is another $740 of technical assistance, which in addition to that, which is, in other words, part of the grant. And that deadline is contingent on going over the plan with the forester and saying, what about next steps? So I have had the forester agree to that section of the grant for April. So in other words, the whole thing should be a wrap just after Earth Day. So I have had this awful cold that everyone's had.
Oh, so, everybody. Yeah.
I know, we're all just spluttering and dying here. So yeah, so basically, although there's an extended deadline till June, I have no intention of allowing that to happen.
Stay pedal to the metal. But it sounds like that they've given us interim deliverables too, that is, you know, helps Right, so that's nice of, was it Tim?
Forrester needs to deliver on the date he has said he can deliver to me.
Okay, yep,
And then.
Let me know if you
yes.
need me to talk to him.
right,
Well, you know,
got him.
I didn't think he was going to blow it. Let's put it that way. He seemed very
Who was
together.
it again? Who's the
Yeah.
one that you hired?
His name is Rye Patton, and Mike Downey, the DCR, said he thought he would be a good choice too.
Okay. I mean, I know Mike, but I don't know.
He's a very nice young man who's just had his first baby.
Oh, goodness.
So,
Yeah.
so yes, it wrung my heartstrings, okay, but
Yep.
not enough to allow it to dribble on to the 30th of June.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we should get that. But it has meant moving an event that was going to happen in January, the presentation of that to sometime later in the year, with me just explaining what the plan is to anyone who shows up. Okay. So, all right. So that was that. All the promotional material. Oh, then, okay. The other thing is, no progress on the Barna electricity from the facilities director. So I have to go back. I, again, routinely ask for updates. And then all the promotional material is actually coming along. What you are signing tonight for Latini Designs, right?
Yes.
This is all in the works right now, and it includes updating the Rauscher Farm brochure from 2025 and actually turning it into apart from the content being up to date, a whole format that, is more suitable to be able to be used on social media.
Right.
It was done as a print brochure. It can still be a print brochure, but it also is being designed for other media too.
Right,
that's-
no, I agree. We have to keep up with those times.
Yeah, we do. Okay. The other thing I did want to talk to you about, because now it's the time to start to get a little bit serious, action-wise. Okay. So the Rauscher Farm Management Subcommittee have been reporting in for the last several reports that it is time to look at the buildings on Rauscher Farm, especially the farmhouse. There's another couple of buildings, but especially the farmhouse, and to envisage, a function and purpose for the farmhouse in the future. And one of the things that we have also put in our report routinely is to have a location on Rauscher Farm where these events and activities can take place. Right now, we hang out at the library, which is fine, but that means we're also competing with the library's program space.
Right.
We do happen to be using the library this year, like this February the 1st, there's the Native Plants Winter Sow. We're going to make
I
a
saw
huge
that.
mess in the library. Just don't tell the library director that. I'll have to bring my vacuum cleaner down. So we are using the library, and the library is happy, but again, there's other things that we want to do. So the Rauscher farmhouse is a potential for activities, both conservation activities and recreational activities. Okay. And so, as we have always done, Rauscher Farm Management Subcommittee has always done this and brought it to you. We go find the subject matter experts first, what to do. So what we're now proposing is that we start seriously researching options of repurposing these properties. And it seems like the logical place to start is something like the trustees of reservations or Mass Audubon, who, similar to Rauscher Farm, have under their property, like previous farms that then have farm buildings that then have been, in other words, they've walked the walk on this one.
Yeah.
So what we would like your blessing to do is now seriously start going out and beginning over, the next 12 months or whatever, to come up with how these properties on Rauscher Farm can be repurposed for public use.
Right.
Obviously, this would not be cheap. So we would be, this would be a capital campaign, but we're not going to worry about the money right now. We have to have the plan. Okay. So we want to now turn it into action, research action.
Right.
your thoughts, and do you have other suggestions of people we might go and talk to? Or, find out how they,
You said trustees, Mass Audubon, Historic New England.
Yep.
okay, hang on.
I had my wedding at a historic New England venue.
Did you really?
I did.
Which one?
What? Okay,
Where?
what,
The Lyman Estate in Waltham.
historic,
Yeah.
They have, but they
I
have
have
like
never,
other
Yeah.
ones, and they have a similar farm one in Concord, and there's Drumlin Farms in Concord and Audubon Society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
and
I was,
they're not just I mean, the Audubon got a couple, there's the one, yeah. So the stuff out there, but I didn't know about Historic New England in
Yep.
Concord.
that's funny you said
Um,
that. I got married in Garden in the Woods with the New England Plant Trust.
That's nice. That's
We
nice
had
too.
Now, did they,
Garden in the
was
Woods.
it did they have a building, Garden in the Wood? I've been to Garden in the Woods, but I
They
can't
do.
remember.
They have a guest center. They do some education there. It's a native property that they teach courses in horticulture. They have this wonderful little amphitheater. We had our family down
Yes.
there.
Does
Right.
Squarey own that? Who owns that?
They have actually, Garden in the Woods, very interesting this, because you remember our friend Professor Rob Gugere, who will be visiting us again at some point in the summer. Okay, so it turns out that Garden in the Woods, and the Native Plant Trust, etc., were not being sufficiently pure enough
Oh, interesting.
with the
Really?
native
Yep.
plants. And so they were doing cultivars and all of this. But by public demand, by people trundling in, because this whole thing is taking off, right?
Yes, yeah.
So now they have suddenly upped their game. So native plant crops. So
Have they
you
really?
see,
Yeah.
it's all that cross-pollination. Okay. Anything else? Anywhere else you guys can think of?
I have an idea, and he is a consultant, but he's a wonderful person named Casey Lee Bastian. His last name is
Casey Lee.
hyphenated.
No,
You know Casey Lee?
he was that 2-year program that the town did with Clinton and Bolton. And Casey Lee, I know him.
Oh, the
Well,
MVP grant. The
Santa.
MVP grant.
know
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Um,
We
know
yeah,
gotta
him
get
so-
back.
so,
We gotta get
so-
back on them.
Why don't
Yeah.
you mention that, that the Roush Gloria and the Roush Farm Management Subcommittee are now because part of that program, they actually visited Roush Farm as one of the locations, site visit to Roush Farm. So he's actually been up there.
That's great. So
Um,
Casey Lee, he and I were coworkers for 5 years at BSC Group. He's a landscape architect by background. But he does a lot of grassroots. He does a lot of rail trails. He does a lot of public spaces and open spaces. That's really his forte. Lies in repurposing and utilization of these
Okay.
sort of things. And he's a local brain to pick. He's a Marlboro resident. And
Mm.
he's really, if you say you've already met him in some capacity, he's just a really wonderful guy
Yeah.
and a wealth of information.
Okay. Do you have a contact for him? I'm not sure that
I
I
can find one
do.
and email it to you. Yep, I'll
What?
find his contact at BSC Group and
He is
make it-
he's still at BSC then.
Yep, he's still at BSC Group.
BSC?
BSC Group. BSC
BSC.
BSC Group.
Okay.
So
Okay, great. So yeah, it's, just get this sort of going. I'd like to think we could move it along before I'm twittering in the trees.
I think it's a really cool idea.
yeah. So what can we do to be more proactive at helping you? I understand some of this is beating the other municipal entities in finance, but things like getting electricity, can we write a
Yeah.
letter of support or
Okay.
something like that? Say the commission is
Okay.
in support of,
Yeah, so the electricity, going back to the barn electricity,
yeah,
I wrote a note, Dave.
Yep.
How can we help Gloria get what she needs from Clinton entities?
that's it. That's it. I mean, that's the nail in the body.
This was going to be
Right.
something that I was going to do this after the meeting.
So
it has been, it has not been easy recently.
No.
I think if I was paranoid, I would think there was a conspiracy, but it's just like,
Right.
I don't think it's Rauscher Farm. I don't think it's me personally. I just think it's just, you
Yeah.
know,
It's Clinton.
That's what I feel too, right?
I think there's a lot of turnover happening right now, and maybe a concentration of tasks on people that
yes, no, and
there hasn't been a lot of backfilling.
I appreciate that truly, and you know, to some degree, the path to Clamshell Pond fell right when Chris McGowan stopped being the DPW director, and that shifted. And I was very, you know, I was very mindful of that, so that I waited until February before I started really pressuring. But
I have a question about that. Does it have to be the DPW that solicits bids to get the project done, or can it be?
no, this is this is what has been proposed in is
Because I
that
almost feel like
an independent contractor would take on
yes.
doing the RFPs, and this woman called Bethany Ordung is the person I met with.
Do we even have to have an external contractor do the bids? Because I mean, frankly, it's Rauscher Farms project. The commission approved it. However, the Rauscher Farms is under the commission. I am in no way volunteering to solicit bids for this, but I would think that because you are the entity that's given the project, that you could, I'm not giving this to you either, but should you want to solicit bids, we could vet them with you and then go from there. Like, we would be the ones approving the bills.
Okay.
Because I think between Dave, Don, and myself, we've seen a number of contractors who do this kind of work. Why?
So I will raise all of this with the town administrator, because he will be wearing at that point his purchasing agent hat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Which although he's on the you know, he's on obviously the permanent building committee, but for someone else to come on has to go through him wearing his purchasing, I believe. So, you know, so we lose
his hand on his clutches.
But in a way, he would be more. It would be more on the clutches because we wouldn't be paying an external person to solicit bids for our project.
And it wouldn't, the way that Miss Ordung, who was a person who Kevin Bartlett reached out to, and then when I found out,
I'm not raising my hand, so I don't know why it says I'm raising my hand.
You know, when I found out that this had sort of been voiced, but then fallen through the cracks again, and when I came, I got into the thread and I said, okay, fine, and I sent her everything, you know, all the stuff, and then met with her, but the way she thought she was being brought on would be to do the bids and also to project manage the project. So, you know, I let me go back and talk to the town administrator / town purchasing agent.
It would be good to have a project manager who's overseeing the contractors, because I don't have time to do that, and I don't think that you really do. Like,
I don't have the expertise. I do know the very good contractor that if I had a choice, I would want to do the project, because he has helped out so much over these years of trying to get this far. You know what I mean?
What is the scope of work that needs the contracting?
Well, it's making the pathway, and also there's that the bridge, there's the viewing platform, there is the handicapped parking areas, of which there are 2.
So we need somebody we need somebody who is an experienced excavator, essentially.
Right. Gloria.
I don't think we need really much more than that.
No,
and I don't think you need anybody with any special expertise beyond simple
Yeah.
contracting to install that
Contracting.
bridge.
Yeah.
Right,
Because,
right.
because
And,
we,
yes,
check
sorry,
that.
Kim, I don't mean to step on
no,
your.
no, no, go ahead.
If I go back a couple of years when we hadn't completed the NOI, but at that point, Chris McGowan and Brian Farragher had, met with me when I said, and they just said, oh, it's fine, we just get some bids, and this is not a complicated thing, and which is why I can't get over why this is it's just
This is a weekend
than-
project. This is a weekend project for somebody who can run an excavating machine.
well,
Like, this is not a
you know.
big, this
You got
is
it,
not a big deal.
And and Kilcoyne is very good. He's very good at this.
Yeah.
And he's he's an independent person, but does a lot of town work. So, anyway, but then I mentioned him to Miss Ordong, and it seems like the whole thing just goes round and round and round and round and round in circles. And
Yeah.
I don't, I can't be qualified to evaluate, to write an RFP or do all of that, because
It's not even, my
it's not
opinion
you.
is this isn't even an RFP project. This is we want you to make a path and grade out the parking lot and install a bridge. How much can you do it for? It's just a quote. Like, it's like, go pick three contractors and get them to give you an estimate. I think that's all you need. I think if this was a bigger project, I'm the first to say you need to get engineered plans, you need to do this and this and this. This is not an engineered plan project at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
okay,
Yeah.
then I will start this conversation.
I'll give you two other names if you want to get a bid.
Okay. Okay, let me come back to you after I talk to Mike.
If we're allowed to do that.
If we're allowed to do that, saying, there's a way around this, right?
And let us know if we can produce any brief official memorandum stating
may have
Conservation
to.
Commission.
Yes,
right,
because, talking of which, I did, which
project.
would be perfect. Okay, I wish I had remembered this years ago, a couple of years ago. Anyway, in all of the various brouhaha's that's been going on in the last couple of years, I have found two important documents that do relate to you guys. The article to buy Rauscher Farm clearly states that the town buys it and the Conservation Commission manages it. Clearly states that, and I will get that to you, that article, right? From the way back when, 2008. In other words, you have the authority. The other thing that I also, Jim dug this out, there was a management plan at the time of purchase. It was an obligation because it had to be submitted to the state because the state was pitching in with some money, some purchase money, right?
Yeah.
And that clearly states about things like the thing that is trails on Rauscher Farm. Yes, but if that affects certain areas of conservation and wildlife, no, people can't just put trails willy-nilly all over it. And I'm going back to some history we shared in the past. But I'm going to give you guys that because this is documented. And you need to have that documentation because it gives you the authority of what you're saying now.
Right. I feel like if it's our, like, if this was like one of the other CR lands and there was like a trails committee, the trails committee would then be the entity that would be pushing forward the project.
Right. Okay.
It just seems like having reviewed the project and having an understanding of this type of work that is ballooned into something that it's just really not.
It has. It's like the mallet to the thumbtack,
Yeah.
That's what it
I'll
feels like.
I'll go get my father-in-law skid steer and I'll do it myself. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. I can't do that.
So the first part is, this conversation is basically boom, and I will relay why cannot the Conservation Commission have the authority? Some authority here, and I will waive the same
Subbing it
article.
to the commission, subbing it to Rauscher Farms Committee.
Well, we already do that, don't we? We pay for the maintenance and the grass cutting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's not done by facilities. That's done by who you felt was best to maintain it. That's a very good point, Don.
Right, yep.
Yes. Here's the sticking point, though, in all of this, that any project over 50,000 is meant to be run by the permanent.
But will it end up being 50,000?
What?
That's what I was gonna say, the
I
more
just
the
don't
weekend
think it's gonna be
project,
50,000.
yeah,
Well,
what
it
is-
might be, because when I did a try, when I didn't have when there was no money in sight at all,
yeah,
and this was when, Dave, you came to the finance during the budget thing, and you sat there with
close?
me, and we said, this is what, to prepare for that, I did
Yeah.
have one of the contractors come up with sort of a guesstimate cost, and it came out 99,000, etc. Now, meanwhile, there
Oh,
is
this
a
scope of work?
budget. There's a budget for this. It's the leftover bond money that sat there forever and ever. We didn't know it when you and I were doing that, Dave. But that
Yeah.
turned up, and there was an article written to repurpose that money, and it's like 144,000. Meanwhile, here's Miss Ordon telling me in December, oh, well, I don't know if that's going to be enough anymore. So it's like, and she may not be on the project anyway. So it's like,
Did
I
I understand
have a
correctly?
site plan.
I would
Is there
say,
anything else? Sorry, go ahead, Dave, and then I'll say what I was gonna say.
I would say you get the bids,
Maybe-
and
Good.
we have another committee that needs to board to approve it. We just say here. And we get their approval, and that's it. I mean,
I
I'm over,
have to, so I basically have to try and pry it out of the permanent building committee. Is that what we're saying?
pardon?
Well, right now it's sitting in the permanent building committee because according to,
Well, what are they
Well, I've
trying to decide? So we can pick the contractors, get it all aligned, and if they have to approve it, then they can vote on it, and we're paying for it.
okay,
just trying
the
to
town, let
Focus
me,
on
let me,
our point
let,
as a possibility. I don't know if we can do it that way or not.
well, let me ask that, Don. Let me ask that with Mike.
We're managing it. If we know some other board's approval, we get it.
Right.
We need it.
And the town, the money can only be spent on Rauscher Farm and for ADA purposes.
Right.
Right?
Understood.
Okay, all right.
But getting back to the bids and the expectations on bids, like, did you say there was a $99,000?
That was me when,
Oh, okay.
when
Yeah, I remember.
when
that.
I got, how that came about is I got the contractor friend, who works for the town too, right?
Okay.
Sell Kilcoyne, right? And I said, can you give me some, because I had no idea what this thing was going to cost. And at the same time, if you recall, I went off to that bridge place, and got
Yeah.
some quotes from them, and I got quotes from,
Oh,
for Lowe's for the decking, for the viewing thing, and I sort of cobbled it all together. I've got my handwritten, I can share
no,
with this.
that's wonderful work, right? To do
So we
cost
can-
estimation yourself, yeah, but,
We do
But-
each
but-
one less
but-
than 50,000. It's 3 jobs.
right.
Yeah, but
Yes,
I had to do
I'm just
that because
being-
otherwise we had no idea what we were talking about in terms of money. And then lo and behold, 144,000 sitting there, has been sitting there, since 2008.
I'm sure the
And it
bridge
is,
is not, is less than 50,000, right?
It's like, it was like 7,000. It was like $8,000, right? From what you,
Yeah. So we
I think
wanted,
it was less, but from
What
what I
was the
remember you
design?
showing.
Was it Trex decking or was it wooden?
yeah, no, I wanted,
forget, it was-
it was,
Trex
well,
deck
again,
or-
yeah, again, we want to make sure this is ADA, we want proper,
Right.
right, all of that stuff.
But even
How
the-
about, let me talk to Mike. Your next meeting, let's block off
Yep.
some time. I will make sure I have given you back.
right.
this is what the manager would do.
information.
He would break
What?
it up into small parts that can
Yeah.
easily be passed by the different boards.
Why is, now the other question for Mike too is there anything stopping us from soliciting bids from people? We already have the design plan, right? With the
Right.
bridge and the grades and everything else that we've already talked about for approve. Now, is there any reason that we can't send this to some smaller contractors who, have a 310 excavator and a skid steer, and to what level is
Yeah.
the grading necessary for this parking lot? It's still going to be open drainage, so there's not like a subsurface stormwater feature. It really is just grading and leveling the parking lot, and then stone dust trails and perhaps the bridge installation. Is
Yeah,
there
the bridge and then and the viewing platform. Let me come.
and the
Let
viewing
me.
flat-
That,
me-
I think that's where the money is the viewing platform.
viewing platform? Yeah. What is it
Well,
going
I-
to be? Yeah.
Again, let me try and dig out that the amateur, trying to get some sense of money. And let me send you all that for the next
Right.
meeting ahead of time, not the day before. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me talk to Mike next week, and then let me send you guys stuff again.
And a good question going off of some of Don's suggestions is, can we break it into
up,
phases
break it into phases. Yes.
and have those
And-
be separate? So like
Yeah.
the grading and the installation of the bridge is one part, and then the platform, which I know is important to you, but in terms of like getting this going, could come
Yeah. No.
later.
No. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Since that sounds more like a permanent structure, permanent building. I don't know.
right.
I don't
And
know.
I look at Sadowski's plan, and I don't really see sufficient drawings for that. That's my concern with that.
What
So
do you mean?
Let's.
He wants to do the whole job? What, is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't. No, let me,
It's concept.
honestly, let me send you all the stuff,
Design.
right? So we can actually go through, and yes, and see, Don, if there is a way you break it up, the
Hmm.
parking lot, or the two parking lots, just the trail and this and that and the other, right? Because the irony to all of this, which is what blows my mind, is I have heard, when the money was finally found a couple of years ago, and that was thank you, town accountant, telling me there's money. I'm going, what money? Money.
Money's
Um,
not really found, but they said we could use it. That's the
Yeah.
two parts.
Because and one of the reasons is because the bond agent was riding on the town to get rid of all these relatively small amounts that were hanging out there,
Right. Compared to the
not
whole
being
project.
dealt with. And that turned that bond to purchase Rauscher Farm into an article to be used on Rauscher Farm to use up all that hanging out there bond, money. And then still it just, okay. So we have a plan. I will talk to Mike. I will say,
Have an
had a
investment.
conversation with you.
Uh,
What? No, had a conversation with you. Is there any reason why the Conservation Commission can't take on this project for implementing it? They know it. They've da 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 da. And if the answer comes
we
back,
just get any approval from some other board if we need it at that point.
right? And then if they say, "Oh well, it's over 50,000," I say, "Yes, but supposing it's broken up into sections and all the sections come out at under 50, what about that one too, Mike?" Okay, great.
We just have to know that we have authority to hire the guy and pay them, those two steps.
Right. Okay. So I am going to
We've
send
done
you
that.
that.
We've done that with other things, so it's just a bigger
Yes.
project.
Well, this actually happened. Oh, hallelujah! In my lifetime. I mean, the irony is
Yeah,
the
for
money is
years, so-
there, and it's the
Lot more
Like,
money.
why
money
don't we
being
put
there.
this friggin' bridge in? Put the friggin' bridge in. You don't want
and
people
then-
walking where they're not supposed to walk anymore. Put the bridge in.
Right. And the funny thing about the bridge, right? When I went back again for the NOI, all of that stuff, and talked to the project manager at the bridge place, and he said, "Oh well, Gloria, good news here. The price has gone down since you last
Wow.
spoke to me during
Really? I
No.
thought it would go up.
At this point, who
Anyway,
knows?
yes. So let me go and get my head around this. I'll send you an email before I talk to Mike next week to say, here's what I believe the questions I am going to ask him, right? In case I'm missing anything, right? I need some hand holding here. Because, I can spin a good spin, but I don't really know sometimes what I'm talking about. So, but I will never allow any one of you to say that.
No, but every single one of your endeavors that you've talked about, we support those. And
Right.
if
Yes.
again and again, if you're getting hung up with other entities and the purse strings around the money, you know, I certainly want to advocate for you, you know.
Yes, and this money can't be spent on anything else but this,
Right. Yeah, that's
you know, it's just sitting there. It's
Yep.
sitting there.
Right.
Well, this is great, Kat. I'm really thrilled about this. Okay, but let me come up with my little agenda of questions. Go and talk to Mike, and then come back to you with all the materials that I've taken from you to give to them, and now I will give them back back to you again. All right,
Just saying,
thank you.
it's a good time to do this kind of work when we have frozen ground.
that's true.
Wow, wow.
Yep. Now's a good
Okay.
planning time.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Because you have done this before with projects. What
Pardon?
Don said.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have.
Well,
You've done
like
this.
you have, and then
You have.
we
have.
evaluate, pay, and we
Right.
like this is not a. I mean, we can't be managing this day to day, but this is not a.
Uncommon circumstance, like a mowing regime or something like that, and having the other maintenance of the property.
We're putting in a trail and a footbridge, but
Yep.
that's going to be like hand dug essentially,
Sure.
the footbridge
Yeah.
part,
Yeah.
or a little like scoop.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
it's not a.
It's not a Chapter 91. It's not a.
The permitting has already been secured.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very heartened by this conversation because I really, you know, and after the deafening roar of silence, you know, throughout December and January, that was
Right.
really
I
very
think,
distressing.
but Gloria, I do agree with Kim's sentiment that it may boil down to the viewing platform in terms of cost and expenditure, because at that point, and I understand the necessity to maintain ADA compliance, given I know the outlook. It's all granite and it's all ledge up there, and it's very bony. That's where
I know, but the
the
problem is without that viewing platform, the viability, what you're going to do,
right.
the trail connects to the viewing platform. It doesn't connect because it's down the side of
Sure.
Clamshell Pond because that can't be ADA. You know.
Not denying the necessity, but this is where the cost goes from
Right, no, I get you. So, no, I get you. I
$100,000
get
project.
you.
It might
Yeah.
require geotechnical borings, and it's granite up there where they're gonna need to know what pilings are gonna be used to stabilize, at what level and elevation, does any grading. They won't
Yeah.
afford any blasting or anything major to be done out there. You know, we've done the notice of intent or on the premise
Yeah,
there would sort of be a minimal intrusion, like certainly not blasting or
yeah, yeah,
borings or change of grade
well,
or
yeah,
to platform
I think
necessary.
that part of the work is outside of the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission Wetland Protection Act, but it's within our purview as managers of the land. So it
Right.
actually wasn't part of the notice of intent. So I don't think we've ever actually seen the viewing platform officially.
but it's on the design.
I don't remember
on-
discussing it.
Yeah, so
No.
okay, so let's get our ducks in line, okay?
Okay.
Right?
I'm not saying it's not possible that I don't remember.
That's
I
it.
just don't remember.
No,
Yeah,
no.
because I'm envisioning the level of detail of geotech borings and having cross-sectional analysis and actually understanding
Yeah, See,
the material that it'll be built from. What
no,
that
so
is.
Dave, let me throw this out at you. There was another gentleman, David. He's retired, I don't know if he's still, but he has a company. He had done all of the surveying of that whole area over over his career. David, his second name, he said to me and did some drawings. This is when there was no money or anything. He believed that was actually also piles of stuff that had been put there rather than
Okay, so
solid.
maybe, yeah, historic fill. Yeah.
Right.
It looks talus, and it looks like Hollis rock outcrop. I could look it up on the soil mapper right now.
Yeah.
It's tough
Okay.
material to work with for meeting the grades of not having too steepness of slope, you know. I don't know what
Yeah.
ADA is. It's probably going to be like a 5% grade or something where somebody doesn't
Yeah.
zoom down that hill.
But you see, without the viewing platform,
Right.
it's not
That
really.
is the point. Right. So
The
let's
You don't need the
Yeah.
bridge if you don't have the viewing platform.
right.
what you're
No, yeah, of course. What's the draw of going out there?
I mean, you know, if it's not going to allow people with limited mobility to actually see Clamshell Pond, what's the point, you know?
Ooh, yeah, that's a
There'll be a
tough.
solution. We'll find a solution. It may, as you say, be several step solution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And if you know, if that entity has to be separately costed, then let's see what that costs vis-a-vis the rest of it and the 144K,
Yep.
right?
Right.
Is that, you know?
Right. Here's where again I suggest if you're able to contact Casey Lee at BSC Group as the landscape architect and he oversees a lot of these projects, he probably knows a lot of you know, these. Again, Kim, to your degree, I agree that it's stone dust and the $7,000 310 backhoe on a Saturday. But if it does require
I've hired
geotech and
backhoes before. They're not too expensive.
no worries. Yeah.
Let me give you what I've got first. Do you know what I
No
mean?
worries. Yeah.
Let me give you all the stuff that I've amassed. Is probably over
No worries.
the years.
Yeah.
We're here to figure
You
this
know.
out with you on
We're
this.
fair with you. Yeah, we're in complete support. It's just
Okay.
Yes, I
in
got
my
one
head, I'm
question.
just thinking,
Yeah,
The
I mean,
99,000 didn't include the platform? 99?
yes, it did.
Okay.
But again, you know, remember, it's my ignorance. I went and costed, just like the bridge came, you know, I costed you know, one of those platform things and surface of it from Lowe's or somewhere like that, you know. I mean, you know, remember, I didn't know
last
what I was
place you got-
doing. You know,
Oh,
I
But
didn't
it's
know
still
what I was.
impressive legwork that you did to actually, you know,
Whip that up.
estimate that I have, you know, 5,000 square feet of decking required and decking it blows at this price. You're doing construction estimate,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's
you know, you get the half baked. It was my attempt
hey,
when I didn't think there was any money anywhere to come up with some sort of
yeah,
project cost to then say, with you sitting there at the FinCom, how are we going to get the money? You know.
right.
Um,
Yep.
but it'd be great if we can work on it together. But let me make sure that I just don't get a total roadblock from the town next week.
Right.
And if we do, then we'll have to do an end
You
run.
need to understand what's causing the roadblock. Maybe they don't want to deal with it or plan it or think about it.
I have no idea, Don.
Right.
I don't know why nothing has happened.
We only need them to approve something so we can hire them and pay them.
Okay.
And build something that the town allows. You know, there's some regulation. We don't need them to plan anything else, and they don't have to
Well,
spend.
I think, you know, I understand this young woman that I met on Rauscher Farm. If she's been reached out to be a project manager, she's looking at
The
creating.
town doesn't know ADA. They don't have an ADA expert, do we? No.
No.
Oh.
So, and I think the company that she works with, as far as I can tell, Haley Ward. Does
Seems
that
like
mean
the
anything?
town- yeah.
When I looked them up, it seemed like almost like independent contractors under a big umbrella.
Haley Ward's a consulting firm.
They're a big firm. Yeah.
The Ryan Ordung, who used to be on our commission, used to work for them, and we've hired them to do stormwater peer reviews. And the planning board exclusively
Wait a
uses
minute.
Haley
Wait a
Ward.
minute. Ryan Ordung.
Yes, I
Hi.
believe there's a familial connection.
I was about to say that can't be.
I believe there's a familial connection. And it just seems like, and the planning board pretty much exclusively uses Haley Ward for their business. So, you know, I don't know if there's like a town preference for Haley Ward for something, for some reason. To manage things, I
I'm
don't know.
laughing at the connections here.
Right.
Okay.
Small world that it is.
Oh, it is. It is. That's why we must all love each other.
That's a wonderful sentiment to take away from that.
Okay, so let me start to make sure that I ask for the right things from Mike to be able to move this forward, basically. And it's not like
Yes,
they're going to
agree.
pay attention because, you know, the library has now got itself into the building construction program of the state. So there's
Who-
millions for the
Who's
school. there's
running, who's
millions.
running that? I don't know. Who's the manager?
That,
for- Yeah,
Okay, so technically the town applied for the grant, Don, the state construction grant. And the town voted at town meeting to lay aside 150K. Without doing that, the town could not actually apply for the program. And that 150K, should the town be accepted into the construction program, that would be used directly to go to somebody who would be designing to not the complete designs, but sketch designs for the two sites. And then the cost, and then the whole thing would then go back to the town in 2026 for the town to vote on, you know, X million dollars, right? Like the schools, it's the same thing as the schools. So the library trustees, we actually paid for a consultant to work on the application with the library director, although the application was made in the name of the town, right? And that application was put in May. And there was meant to be a decision made in October, and it was finally not made until 10 days ago. And the library is indeed now accepted into the program, it's a very competitive program. The library isn't, or the town, I should say, the town is now accepted into the program because part of the application, there had to be two sites, one of which is the library, and one of which was another site, which was virtually impossible to find, but went in, the old American Legion site, the one just, you know, almost, okay.
Yep.
Long, narrow thing that goes back. So right now, the state will give another 100K to go to the 150K. So that's 250K for someone to sketch design these two. So that's where it now is. But that whole thing goes to, Don, the Permanent Building Committee, as did the town school project went through the town building committee. So somewhere in the middle of this, the Little Rauscher Farm project sort of basically vanished with the school one, and now the library one is coming out to do the same process as the school did. Ultimately, the town will vote on whether to accept being the actual construction. So it's the planning and design, the construction part, because then it will have a price tag.
that'll be very expensive, right? 500,000 or more.
Oh, it's millions, Don. It's a
Millions.
building that has it's a bit, and the irony is
I know
that if
low-cost contract.
the town doesn't accept to be part of this program, the building is going to have an enormous amount of money spent on it anyway.
But we have all the money we need. We just need to get permission to hire and
Yeah,
spend.
we do. So sorry, I was answering your question about the library. Okay,
That's exactly what we need to.
okay,
Can we just break it
Thank
into 3 parts or 4 parts?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's let Gloria play out this, and then we'll see how it shakes out in February.
And pick
Yeah.
out an order. Which order?
So
you
I'll
need
send
to
you,
do.
I'll send
Talk
you
about
the
it.
questions I'm going to ask Mike. I'll meet with Mike. I'll feed you back that response, and I will send you the materials that I have already been submitted, not once, not twice, not 3 times, more to the Permanent Building Committee.
Okay.
The whole package will come back. Well, can stay there. I don't care what it does, but I will then forward it back to you. I did actually do it. You do have it somewhere, but don't try and find it. There were a series of 3 emails
I'm
way
great.
back a year ago. Right. Okay.
Okay.
I have one final question. Gloria, have you had any registrations for the library program you have?
Well, I haven't looked for a few days, so there were 3. There's a restriction, no more than 18.
No more than
So the
18.
library, the library handles the registration. So if you go to the Rauscher Farm website and click on the flyer on the homepage or the link underneath, that takes you right to the library's registration page.
Outstanding. All right. I'm gonna take a look. I don't want to steal if they were taken,
No,
but I might
no,
register my girls.
this is every
It sounds
person
like
for
there's a-
themselves here.
Yeah,
No,
we got it.
I'm worried about no one showing up.
Oh,
Please
yep.
sign
I'll-
up.
I'll get some,
Please
I'll
sign
get
up.
some. people there. All right.
Yeah,
That's it.
because, and
I'll
then you
bring it
do
back
know,
I'm interested and it's the 1st of February.
1st of February, 12 noon till 2.
Okay.
And the point is you have to go and register at the library because there's also there a fuller description of the project and the things you need to bring. Like
Right.
the gallon milk jug
Milk jug
things.
cut
That's right.
cut in half. Yeah. All right.
And they're supplying the seeds
That's
because
great.
these, in order to germinate, they have to go out in the cold.
It was noon to 2, right?
So it's 12 noon till 2, Saturday, February 1st. I'm about to do another email blast at the beginning of next week. It's in the item called, it's in the calendar. It's on Facebook. I'm going to do another Facebook.
Good. I've got Sadie is one of her Clinton best friends that I might ask if they want to go, and then Harper is another buddy. So
When you go
Awesome.
onto the website, Gloria, it says 9 of 18 available spaces.
oh, that
Okay.
means that you have wow.
No, that means
There's 9
there's
slots
9
left.
people. 9
Yeah.
people. There's still
Wow.
another 9 people vacant to go.
Yes.
Right.
You have-
So
You have
sign
9
up.
spaces left. You have 9
That's great.
spaces left.
Okay. No, seriously though, because this is what we're doing on Rauscher Farm,
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah, and I
because
encourage my
these 2 women who came, they did a site visit with me, before we got all this idea.
Yep.
And they basically said, because you had said, and we could put anything from the Gaugier list in there without having to ask each plant by plant by plant. They looked around and said, you don't have enough variety because stuff's not going to make it, and then you've got nothing, right? So on that very uplifting note, I said, okay, so what about, we'll do a winter sow, they said. Yeah, but they are bringing the seeds and they're all from Gaugier's list.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get some bearded foxglove, some Monardella. Yeah, nerd out with native species. So yeah, I'll try to see if it works for my girls.
Because you know what? People will stop. You know what happens? Not everyone comes, although they've said they were coming, right? But I tried not to get, too anxious about it because I am planning to do more blasts. So yes, I want it full. We want it full. Make a big mess in the library with dirt, I have to go and order the dirt too. Special dirt, not any old rubbishy stuff from Lowe's or no, special
That
organic.
dank organic 10YR21.
Yay. Okay, yay. I want to
All
say
right.
one thing about Casey. I want a
Yes.
little bit of time to talk to some of these other places
Oh, sure,
before
sure.
talking to Casey, so that I need
Absolutely,
to educate.
right.
I need to educate
Yep.
myself.
And of course, I know, that he would probably offer, a quick consult I don't think that he's like the salesman guy who's like, oh, hire me at BSC. He is an outstanding project manager for something like this. But again,
Yeah.
that would result in even more cost to hire Casey Lee through BSC. So, but yeah,
Right.
no,
And
free,
I
free
actually,
council,
I
I think
mean,
he's,
I did hang out with, because they did a few, apart from him coming to Roger Farm, then they did a thing in June and, I hung out with him. I actually know his wife from some time ago too. So they see I've got these,
yeah,
what,
he's a
what did
wonderful,
you say? Familiar, family contacts or something?
or familiar,
That's right.
familiarity.
I'm
I forget what Kevin said, yeah.
yeah.
Familiar contact.
Oh.
Wonderful guy. Fun fact: he goes to Renaissance fairs and he's a fire breather, and fire performer.
It is.
I've seen
Oh, how funny.
videos of him throwing fires, and it's funny. He lives in Marlboro, and I've seen him recording in his backyard. And I was like, "What do your neighbors think of you?" I know your neighbors are looking at your house, wondering, what you're doing with gasoline.
Well, in a much earlier life than this, before I came to America, I was a theater person, and I
Yeah.
ran theater companies and I wrote plays and all this. But one of the things I did was a whole clown show for kids, and I had one of my actors learn to do fire.
Well, oh, pyrotechnics. All right.
It's timing is everything.
Yeah. So, all right. Sounds like we're winding down and set
Yes.
to.
No, I am so appreciative of this, really, because I just felt like getting absolutely nowhere fast.
I hate that feeling, and I know how steadfastly you work on these
Yeah.
things for us.
And I hear you. I mean, we do have to break it up into sections.
Yeah.
We get
Maybe
the
phases, yep.
pieces. Yeah. Well, I'm going to hang out for that, ultimately for that viewing platform, because I have a very personal thing here, because
Do the
it's
parking lot last.
Oh, I'm not a naysayer, but yeah, we
I'm just
want
no,
telling
you are, you need to tell me
wanna
what
know
I need to hear.
we want to know what
And then
what
if
it
there's a
takes.
puzzle to solve, I need to know what the
It's a
puzzle
puzzle.
is, and then
Yeah.
try and work out, we work out how to solve it,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And I don't for one moment consider anyone here a naysayer, honestly. Like I see you as you tell me what the puzzle is, and then we all think, well, okay, well, how to solve this,
Sorry.
So
I have a
we
dog.
love solving puzzles. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Feel the love. Would you like to go and eat now?
Yeah. Do we?
I'm gonna go get my kids to bed.
I will exactly. I was like, there's somebody I haven't really seen today.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This is really really lifted my spirits about this project.
Good.
Really, really. Okay. Thank you. I'll blow you a kiss
Say hi
at
to Jim
home.
first.
He's
Good night.
playing his electric jazz mandolin. That's what he's teaching himself at the moment.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
All right, so I need to sign off because you're going to authorize payment, right?
We've already done that, but I have one more thing.
Yeah, we
before
need
we all
any other
go.
authority.
One
Not
thing.
me. Not me.
Not
Shall
you.
I go? Shall
You
I
are
go?
dismissed.
I'm dismissed. Okay, then. Thank you very much, Kimberly.
Good night.
Bye,
Good night.
Gloria.
Thank you, everybody. Really, very.
Yep.
You reminded me of something that we need to do, and time is starting to run out when you talked about BSC group. I would like to give you a homework assignment, Dave.
Yes.
Can you get in touch with Jillian Davies and talk to her about planning a bylaw workshop for the bylaw that they wrote with us under
Yes.
the MVP grant?
Yes. Yep. Happy to do that.
Thank you.
Cool. Do you have the last correspondence with her that you could forward to me or find from some buried email from a while back? And then I'll just reinitiate the conversation with her. Yep. Happy to
I don't
do
think
that.
we ever talked, we never discussed having a workshop, but it was very clear based on the response at the last town meeting that we needed to have like a public meeting workshop. And I think it would be good to have them, not just us talking about it and what they've
Yep.
done in other communities and why it's important, and
Yeah,
why it makes
then that
sense, blah,
benefit-
blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah.
Absolutely. I can't think of anyone better.
Well, they're the
suited.
ones that, like, she did
Do
it,
it.
so, like,
Yeah.
and I think they've done the same thing in other communities, and you work together.
Yep.
We've all worked with her, but you've worked with her, so.
Yeah. I'll catch
Tag
her.
your
I'll catch up to her. Right. I'll shoot her an email.
Okay, I'll forward you something to bounce off of, and that is all I have for this evening. So do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I
I make a motion. Nope.
Jinx,
Don makes a motion. I second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good night. See you later.
All right.
Mhm.
Bye, guys.